I know for a very long time because you've talked about your experience in the film industry where you started, you had a family, took a 20-year hiatus, and then came back. So, knowing that, me coming into it, I put a lot of pressure on myself because I wanted to get all of that done for you. And it got to the point where I was having a lot of anxiety, a lot of burnout because I was overworking it because I was trying to do it for you even though I should have been doing it for myself. And
Exactly.
then, I mean, especially when we had the move, because you and I've had, multiple deep conversations about everything, just trying to not hold resentment against each other. And more, admittedly, so more me than you. But it's just that thing of trying to being upset and disappointed in the situation rather than with the person. So you don't even want to get to that place. So instead of trying to go, 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 trying to get everything done for somebody else, you have to realize, examine everything that's going on in your life and be like, okay, no, we actually need to take a step back. We need to regroup everything and figure out what is our smart plan of attack. Because in some instances, when it comes to the company or when it comes to life, we've rushed into things. We've made that
Yeah.
point
Yeah.
very clear on many other different shows and conversations we've had. We've rushed into things, and sometimes it's led us to really good things, but sometimes it's also led us to situations that do lead to more burnout, more anxiety, and more resentment. So it's better to just get all of your ducks in a row, all of your eggs together before you break them up and boil them and scramble them, or sunny side up, whichever you prefer. But yes, I think that's the most important thing, though, because obviously, you and I, we have such a great connection and such a great relationship that we had even before Emily and I started, going out or got together. So to try to wrap all of it into one family dynamic and trying to achieve multiple different things at once, it's very important to make sure that I keep myself very organized, very structured to
Yeah.
where I can make sure I get things done, to where I'm getting things done at my home, making sure the household's rolling well, making sure my wife is, in a good space mentally, making sure she's taken care of, making sure we're spending enough quality time together. But then also, there's three parts: there's the company, there's the family, and then there's you. You have to make sure you have to take care of
Exactly.
you as well. That's the biggest thing.
Well, and it's taking it to what you said about early on, how you were like, oh, I have to do this for him, kind of thing. I think that was the mistake that I made. It isn't all in or all out. It's finding the balance, right?
Hmm.
Which is I made the mistake of going out completely for 20 years, right? And you almost made the mistake of going all in and ignoring everything else. But now we are finding that balance. It's like you can have this company and pursue your dreams and make movies and do these cool things and have a personal life and a marriage and or dating and so and you can do both at the same time. It doesn't have to be an all in or all out situation. And learning to balance that is where the boundaries and the being able to say yes and no at time it matters. And so and I think, coming into this, it took us a while to figure it out. It did take us
It
a while to
did.
figure it
And,
out.
and don't you feel like so much happier now that we've kind of started to figure it out? Like
Yeah,
I
yeah.
know
I,
I feel
I
so much happier and so much more like pressure lifted off my shoulders
well,
from it.
that's the thing. When you realize that you can do everything, you just have to do it in, like you said, it's almost compartmentalizing. It's
Hmm.
I have this, and I have this. So I'm gonna do some time here, then I'm gonna do some time here, and then I'm gonna do some time here. And when you notice that you're spending maybe a little too much time in each, that's where the boundary comes. It's like, ooh, oops, I'm overstaying here. I gotta set that boundary and come back over here, and then come back over here. And as long as you do that and you recognize, then you're good. It's when you just go all in too far in one of the because and this might sound crazy, which maybe the wrong word to use here, but it can be dangerous if you go all in too much on yourself as well.
Mm-hmm.
Self-love and self-care is extremely important to mental health, but you can overdo it sometimes. you can start to alienate everything around you if you're spending too much time here. So you got to remember to actually enjoy the life you're trying to be happy for, instead of that. So yeah, it's a little bit of a balance. And there's things. So it brings me to a quote that is really, it kind of stands out to what we're talking about. Every time you say yes to something that doesn't align with your values, you're saying no to something else. Because you're like, I don't really feel like this fits into what I'm trying to do, my vibe, my energy. So I'm just going to say yes and do it anyway, even though it's going to cause me so. So what are you saying no to? What are you putting away that does align with you to say yes to this? And that's why I love that quote, because again, I don't think that saying no is a bad thing. It's just saying this isn't aligning with what I'm trying to do right now. I need to do this. And so that's a good thing. That's never a bad thing to know where you're at, what works for you, what is giving you positive energy and not negative energy, and knowing to when to keep that out and when to bring it in. I think that's just so critically important.